Welcome to the Rational Discourse Podcast, June 1st, 2013, analyzing the human experience and answering the questions that affect us most. This is Sean.
And this is Daniel.
And today we will be discussing the role of sexual behavior and sexual orientation. A sensitive subject, to say the least, but here at Rational Discourse, no topic is off limits. All right, I wanted to start this podcast off talking about, I'm sure everybody's heard of this girl, Farrah Abraham. She was some celebrity, or so-called celebrity.
A nobody.
Yeah, a nobody, pretty much. But unfortunately, these talentless people get on these reality TV shows that people just can't get enough of. And
it's like that song, Celebrity. You ever heard the song?
No.
Oh, God, it's a good one.
Okay.
It's a country song, but...
Yeah, well, that would probably be why I've never heard of it. But it's just, first off, we build them up and we watch their lives or whatever, and then they realize they have absolutely no marketable talent. So what do? They do a porn. Why not? But it just brings me to the point that we've come to a point in society where it almost seems like this is what the norm is, when obviously this isn't the norm. This is just what has been publicized. I think that says a lot about where the society, I think, is more sexually promiscuous simply from a perception standpoint. I don't think it's really gotten that bad. I just think we see it more.
See what more?
Just it's more publicized.
Like porn?
Well, not even just porn, but just you see on commercials, like every commercial is showing some hot woman or some dude with a shirt off. And
yeah, but I was thinking about this the other day. Our last topic was social media, right? Now, if you look at social media and technology in general, that has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Since the 50s, the 80s. I mean, it's grown exponentially. But I feel like sex hasn't.
Yeah.
I feel like people still talk about having sex on prom night. Like that was something that you did in the 50s. Whereas, in the 50s you were probably already married or going to be married to the person you had sex with on prom night. I feel like that's still like a thing, Like I don't think sex has...
I mean, that's basically the same point I'm trying to make. It hasn't changed. Oh, but yet a lot of people perceive it as changing, and it's only because they see it more. It's like thrown in your face all the time. Yeah. Every time you turn on the TV, every channel you switch to, it's a different commercial or a different TV show that's exploiting. And it's I think it's a human behavior thing. We're not willing to admit it because we don't want to come off as being too open about it, but we kind of want to see that we want to see sex. So and it sells, obviously, because when these commercials come out, people obviously want to act like it's not important to them, so they don't come off as being too promiscuous.
I feel like it's in large part due to the internet.
Yeah,
because anyone can go to Google and just type in dicks and get a bunch of pictures of some, really beautiful dicks. I feel like Google produces some good dick images.
Yeah, I mean, porn is.
I go there quite often.
Do you?
Not really.
Yeah.
Actually, I do. Whenever I'm sad, I just go to Google and I type in dicks. It just cheers me up.
I have no response to that. So.
Now, another thing I want to note about porn is you don't actually have to be good at sex to do porn. You just have to look good while doing it.
Well, and what's funny about it is this.
To do porn.
We brought up this girl, and I watched the porn. It wasn't impressive to me. It didn't.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a bit of porn in my life, and it didn't stand out in any way. She's not that attractive of a girl. She wears a lot of makeup. Her face is a little. I mean, she's pretty, but I wouldn't go out of my way and say that she is, a top 10, top 100.
Which brings me to my next point. sometimes you gotta watch ugly porn, like women who are possibly like morbidly obese, just getting pounded by some
That's
black
another thing
dude with like a 10-inch cock. I mean, just this fat dick. And like, sometimes I gotta watch some ugly porn, or some like really skinny chick. She's got a really messed up face and like bad teeth. And again, going back to the black dude with a 10-inch cock, and like he's really fat and he's just pounding away at her. Yeah, now, sometimes I like to watch the ugly girl porn. Sometimes you gotta change it up. Sometimes you gotta throw a tranny in there every once in a while.
Well, it just goes to show you that there's a market for pretty much any type of porn, because people's predilections they have a very wide variety. So you pretty much have an audience for just about anything. You can get midget porn or reality, something that's you got a bus full of cheerleaders come by and oh hey look at this and it's horrible acting. The pizza guy comes over and so you have a market for it. So I think people have always been, as much as they want to deny it, humans are animalistic. They sex is a primal drive for people. So
absolutely.
But they want to deny it because God says they can't be sexually or for whatever reason, or their parents they don't want people to put them in a box. They don't want them to be stereotyped as being sexually promiscuous.
I still feel like we are still pretty prude, though.
In America, especially, and in a lot of other countries in the world. But I think that has a lot to do with, I hate to always bring it up, but it seems like we are always constricted by people's moral, and I use quotes because morality is a very, there's a basic morality: don't kill, don't steal. Those things they're ingrained in human behavior. But then there's also the whole, you have to have, Christianity specifically, you have to have sex in a particular position. You're not allowed to lust after other people. And people almost feel ashamed when they have basic human behavior because they believe that it's an affront to their religious beliefs. And I think if we could get past that, it would actually go a long way in helping us become better. And also it would lessen, because people are so worried about what other people think, it becomes an issue.
Yeah. And
it amplifies it. And I think if we could get past that, we could focus on some more important issues and stop worrying about all this BS
I just
come about.
Would it be so bad if you could just walk up to a woman and be like, "Hi, I'd really like to have sex with you"?
Well, some men wouldn't like that. So I've heard. It's never worked for me, although I've never tried it. But I assume that if other things haven't worked, then that probably wouldn't either. So
I don't think
maybe being overly honest is a good thing. Maybe that is what they want. So
no, they want to be lied to.
They want to be lied to. Is that from your personal experience?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, honesty hasn't worked for me very well, so maybe you're right.
It's not. I feel like a lot of times it's a game. It's like a game of cat and mouse, and girls want to play the game. Game of cat and mouse.
Yeah, I'm bored of the game.
A wise man once told me. I'm just gonna go right into this. A wise man once told me, on a first date, you give the girl just the tip. All right. Now, once you start dating, then you can go ahead and give her 2 inches. All right. Maybe after a year, you give her 4. All right. No, it's only if you really like her. If you tell her that you love her, then you go ahead and give her 4. Only after you get married should you give her 6. But never, under any circumstance, give her all 8. Because then they just go fucking crazy. I've never heard truer words in my life.
Who told you this?
It was a gay bartender.
Gay bartender? Is that a drink or is that an actual...
No, it was a gay bartender.
It sounds like a drink, so that's why.
He was a very wise man.
Oh, okay.
He also had sex with women. So, in his past, I mean, he was like in his 40s, so... But that's some of the best advice I've ever gotten. Still, to this day, I do not listen to it, though.
I mean, as men, you tend to try to impress at the beginning, so you can
I'm going balls deep.
try to throw down your best moves, because it's only going to get worse from the beginning on downwards. So. But I mean, that's another thing. You mentioned the gay bartender. That's another thing that we end up having to deal with in our society. People, there's this whole, we are. I think it's a good thing we are evolving into a I don't really care society. It's not really our position to tell people what they can and can't do in the bedroom, and I think that's led to this. We're transitioning to gay rights for everybody, or same rights, marriage rights for gay and lesbian individuals. And
it just doesn't matter. Like I'm tired of people saying stuff that or trying to tell people they have to do what they want them to do, even though what they're doing doesn't affect the other person.
Absolutely.
Whatsoever.
Absolutely. I mean, there's people that have been gay their whole life that nobody ever knows about, and you're like, oh, that's such a great person, but as soon as you find out that one fact, all of a sudden they're the horriblest human being ever.
I just remembered this. I saw this link on Twitter. It was hold on, let me look it up. It was an app to cure gayness in 60 days. So they I know, isn't that the stupidest?
Let me guess, it was funded by the Christian League or something like that.
You are damn straight. Hold on, cure gayness app. Let me see if it comes up. Oh, here we go. News for freedom from the bondage of homosexuality. All right, so this is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. All right, here, let me read you what the creator of the app says. He says, "First, let me just say that despite what you may have heard elsewhere, you do not have a homosexual. I can't even say this. You do not have a homosexual gene, nor were you born this way with no hope of freedom. You can be set free from the bondage of the bondage of homosexuality through the power of Jesus Christ and the cross."
Yeah, but what about people who like bondage? I mean, it's kind of discriminatory, don't you think?
Yeah, I know. If you will apply the biblical principles found here, you can walk through, capitalized, the door of hope. Apparently, that's like an actual thing.
There's an actual door?
It's an actual door of hope. You can actually walk through it.
All right.
Because it's capitalized door.
Well, it sounds legit.
Yeah. All right. Into a new life with Christ, free from sexual impurity, and get this, self-gratification. Now,
isn't self-gratification masturbation, which is what they don't want you to do in the first place, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. I thought like self-gratification was a good thing. Like, oh, I feel good about myself.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't want you to feel good about yourself. No.
What self-gratification? Isn't that like a good thing?
I would imagine so.
Am I reading this wrong?
Probably.
Friend, make no mistake about it. God calls homosexuality wicked and evil.
That is
not
true.
An alternative lifestyle.
What is it, Leviticus? Yeah.
I have no idea, but this is
to
just
think. We would never put so much
it's a gay
credence. We would never put so much credence into a book that was written 2,000 years ago if it wasn't written by somebody who supposedly was the Son of God, or it's amazing me. It amazes me that, and the fact that people don't understand. Like, I have never read the Bible, but I've researched it a lot. The whole Chronicles. The first 4 books of the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, or of the New Testament. Everybody always, it's the Word of Christ. First off, no, it wasn't even written during his lifetime. So let's say Christ was a real person. I'm not going to deny that. The fact that he lived doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove that he was the Son of God. All it proves is that he was a really, really good con man. And he convinced enough people that he was to believe him. But, I mean, you also got to think of where they were. These were illiterate peasants in the middle of nowhere that lived in the desert, that were starving, that were looking for anything to give them some hope. So, and the fact that we...
Hey, man, he fed those people.
Yeah. He created, was it like 5 loaves of bread and 20 fish or something like that. I don't remember the exact quote.
It was like 20,000 fish. All right, he was a baller fisherman. All right, People can't fish like him.
Yeah.
Well, now today they can. They got boats and shit. But
anyway, back to
Jesus Christ changes lives.
Yeah, I mean but I mean we can.
That's a fact, Jack.
Get back to the what we were talking about.
Oh right, sex. Yeah. This is not the religion.
They do have there's a map online that shows the different states that have legalized gay marriage, and you can see.
Oh, the colors.
Everything's northern. Everything's northern. New England is almost completely legalized.
Oh, I want to see that. Wait, what's it called?
I just looked up. I think I just looked up same-sex marriage.
Same-sex marriage.
But you can see like the state constitution bans same-sex marriage and some or all other kinds of same-sex unions, and you see, not only Virginia, which is where we're broadcasting this from, but the entire Bible Belt. And it's always red states, which are conservative states, which has become a synonym for Republican.
Dude, and some of these states have constitutional bans.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. If you type in, I think I typed in gay marriage map, it'll take you, like the first one is from Huffington Post, and it shows a GIF, and it does the timeline. And at 1970, everyone had a legal ban over it, and then it shows it evolving, or it shows the timeline going on, and then the constitutional ban.
So the constitutional bans actually came after.
Yeah, after the 1970s.
So when they realized, they were like, "Oh, this is starting to gain some momentum. We better
put it into the Constitution."
Yeah, we don't want, heaven forbid, people be happy. Get on with their lives.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. It's just, and it's delegating, first off, personal belief, but it's also, we're supposed to be a country founded on free, inalienable rights, unless they're, perceived as against what the majority, even though it's not a majority, it's the majority of the people who are willing to stand up and say these horrible things about people. I don't personally have any. I don't have anybody in the battle. I don't really care, to tell you the truth, whether or not gays get married. But at the same time, if I don't care, then why not it be legal? Why not have them be accorded the same rights as everybody else? It's just it's the same thing as slavery. I mean, you can say that's a dumb connection because you're talking about. Actually, no, I don't think it's a dumb connection because race and sexual orientation are natural parts of the human experience, and I don't see how they are too different. But for the longest time, it was thought that blacks, to quote,
couldn't marry whites.
Well, that, and also I can't remember if it was a movie or a comedian, but they basically thought they made great farm implements. It's for the longest time they were thought to be property and less than white people.
Oh yeah, no, they were treated as property.
It's pretty ridiculous. But getting back to what I mentioned earlier, how people will say, "Oh, this is such a great person," and then when they find out that they're gay, all of a sudden they become this evil individual. And it's funny how people that they, and I'm not going to try to speculate about people that are dead. They're dead and buried. I'm not going to bring them back up. But there are some people from our past, famous people, who there is evidence that they might have been gay or bisexual. And it's funny, like Abraham Lincoln. There's a story, and people get mad at this all the time because there's a lot of people in this country who view Abraham Lincoln as almost a messiah figure, like he was the second coming. And so a lot of times you talk bad about, oh, you're calling him gay, but is it really a bad thing?
You're not talking bad about him. You're just saying he might have been gay. There's nothing wrong with that.
So, and he spent a lot of time with this general friend of him in a one-bedroom cabin, and you can say anything about it, doesn't matter, but the fact that he was supposedly adds fuel. Some people that maybe didn't like him, southern states, could use that as ammunition. So I don't want to add anything to it, but it is something that's out there, so it's something worth mentioning.
Man, Abraham Lincoln was a big dude too. Can you imagine a big guy like that fucking you in the ass?
He was pretty scrawny though.
No, what? All right, so Abraham Lincoln was giving a speech once, right? Mm-hmm. And these guys started arguing in the speech. He picked the dude up, threw him, told him to shut up, went back up on stage, and finished the speech.
Well, yeah, he was strong, but he was also he was a skinny man. He had actually a medical condition known as Ehlers-Danlos, which gives you elongated features,
high pitched voice.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't have I don't believe he had a high pitched voice.
I mean,
they had an audio recording of him that was.
That's why Daniel Day-Lewis had that. That's why he played the voice like that in the movie.
Honestly, I still haven't seen that.
You haven't seen the movie? No. Yeah, me neither. But anyways, he had it messed with his voice a little bit.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
oh, okay. I mean, from what I understood, he didn't have like a really high pitched voice. But anyway, I guess that's besides the point. You had mentioned the other day you were watching that movie about Liberace. Was it Behind the Candelabra, the HBO film?
Candelabra.
Suppose that movie is the highest rated movie on premium cable channel.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they. Well, it says in the last 9 years. I don't really know.
It was really good.
Yeah,
man, Matt Damon and
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, man, those guys are some motherfuckers. They are. That movie was it was like a train wreck. I mean, it was really crazy. But it was like a good train wreck. Like, it was really good.
A good train wreck?
No, it's like, you know how people...
So nobody died, but it's, just a lot.
You know how people watch Jersey Shore and they say they have to watch it because it's like watching a train wreck. I just can't look away. Like,
I don't necessarily have that
stupid. Like, Jersey Shore pisses me off because those people are just so fucking stupid. Like, I cannot believe that
they're also not from Jersey, apparently.
Yeah, whatever. They're just...
Or Italian, for that matter.
Yeah, oh my god. But this was it was mostly dialogue, but it was really good. I mean, both men played their parts wonderfully. It was just.
I mean, well, what was this story? I'm not familiar. I mean, I know who Liberace is. I know he did. Was a musician, but I don't really know much about.
Yeah.
The movie itself.
I mean, it was about.
Spoiler alert, possibly.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Alright, so it was about, obviously Liberace, and he, it starts off with Matt Damon's character, and Matt Damon's character meets this guy at a bar, and then the guy takes him to go see a Liberace show. And then he ends up going backstage, meeting Liberace, and Liberace just kind of, clings on to him, and then has him come stay at his house. And you just basically watch their relationship unfold, and it's kind of like a behind the scenes of Liberace's life, trying to hide the fact that he's gay.
Yeah, I mean,
throughout the
from
entire
my understanding
movie.
is he tried to deny it his entire life. He never came out and admitted it, and he would even sue people who would propose the idea.
Yes, he sued. I think he sued Rolling Stone magazine. Okay. I think it was, or maybe the New York Times. I'm not sure which one it was, but he won. He had several lawsuits, and he won those. It only covered like one in the movie, but I read on Wikipedia that it was several lawsuits that he had, and it just kind of goes through that whole thing, and then it goes up to his death and what happened afterwards, and just the aftermath of the relationship and the deterioration. Oh god.
We know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, deterioration of the relationship. The relationship falling apart. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I mean it does show the difference. He was popular during the 50s, 60s, and of course he died. It says 87 was when he passed away, or passed away, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah, and when he died, even after he died, his manager was trying to hide the fact that he was gay, because they got the body embalmed, and they didn't want it to have it autopsied, because it had already been embalmed, and they knew that if it got autopsied, that they would find that he had died of AIDS. Well, they had gotten a hold of skin cells from Liberace, and they tested those, or I think it was skin cells, and they determined that Liberace had died by AIDS, and apparently that was a really big news story.
Yeah.
First time I ever heard of Liberace, Austin Powers, the first Austin Powers. When he comes back,
I can't believe Liberace was gay.
Exactly.
I mean, women loved him. I never saw that one.
I remember turning to my mom going, "Who's Liberace?" What the? She was like, he was like Elton John before Elton John.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. Yeah.
But if you look at it, I mean, he had these sparkling outfits and all that.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it,
Yeah, looking
people
back,
realize.
like,
I mean, they didn't really think of flamboyancy back then. Is it was more of an eccentricity as opposed to giving any inclination for their sexual prowess or sexual orientation. But I mean, it's definitely shown how we've changed as a society. Nowadays, there's many acting. Elton John's a perfect example. Many musicians and actors and actresses who they don't care. They just come out. Of course, I'm gay. Because they don't view it as being a shameful thing. They view it as just being part of their lives. And then we got the other thing in the news right now. The Boy Scouts of America lifted the ban on gay members. Still can't be a gay leader, which I guess it's still progress. So we're getting a little bit done, but. There's still a lot of insecurity among people. People are worried. Oh, if just because they're gay, that means they're going to rape all our kids. It's like, it's like a straight man being gay, homophobic, and they're like, oh, every gay guy wants to fuck me. Trust me. Do all women want to fuck you? No. So all gay guys probably don't either. So it's just people are. It's like a innate fear. They're worried that if gay people have rights, that they're just going to walk into your house and butt fuck you, and that's, oh my God, there's going to be there's going to be a rash of these homo bandits.
I got to go off on this in a second.
Okay.
All right. So I was in Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. I was in Boy Scouts for like 5 years, I think it was. I didn't get too high in rank, but I went to the National Jamboree, 50,000 Boy Scouts, and my Scoutmaster, if he had been gay, it would not have changed anything whatsoever. He
still would have molested you? No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
He was easily one of the most influential men for young boys that I've ever met in my life. I mean, there's 3.
So he was a strong influence.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. There were 3 men in my life, who were very strong, influential people. My Scoutmaster, Randy, my father, and my swim team coach, Kevin, when I was in the club team. And they were coaches. I mean, my dad was a coach for Little League, and what he would do is he would take the kids that no one else wanted, like everyone else would pick the children that they wanted on their team, and my dad would take those that were left over, and he would, everyone would play on the team. There was no one who didn't get play time, and he'd win games. That's just what he would do. He would coach them. He would work with them. It was a real ball team. It was a good experience as a child. You actually got to play. You actually got to learn. You actually got to be involved. As opposed to some of these other teams that just used the good players and the kids that weren't as good. Well, they didn't get as much play time because, the dads want to win the Little League team.
Oh, trust me, I understand that completely.
It's about coaching. It's about developing the kids, and that's what he cared about. That's what all 3 of these men cared about. Not so much about winning, but developing the children to be men, and Randy, put us through a lot of that. I remember this one summer. All right, we were at summer camp, and this kid, his name was John A. All right, John A. was trying to light a fire, and Randy is just giving him shit. John A. cannot light this fire to save his life. I mean, he's sitting there doing everything he can for like 30 minutes. And Randy is just nailing him. Come on, light the fire, John A. What's wrong? Why can't you light the fire? Just going at him. And finally, John A. breaks. He breaks, and he runs off to his, his camp. We had like those tents, but they were like tall standing tents. So he runs back to his tent, goes on his cot, and I'm assuming he was crying. I have no idea. But Randy goes back to him, and talks to him afterwards. And I feel like it's experiences like those where you break people that make you a stronger person, And it's funny, I actually saw John A. the other day. Just a little quick chat with him. He's living here in Richmond. But anyways, if either of those 3 men had been gay, it would not have changed anything.
Well, if your dad had been gay, you might not have been born. But just I'm just saying, like, just pointing that out. That might have changed some things. But
And there are plenty of gay men who have children and they come out later.
I know. But the reason they come out later is because they get to the point where they realize that they're fighting something that is kind of pointless. So, but if we were more open about it, then that hypothetical, obviously.
But I'm just saying, like, if either of those three men had been homosexuals,
it
it
wouldn't
would
have
not
changed
have
anything.
changed a thing.
Yeah.
They all three of them would have still been very influential men on the kids because they're real men.
Yeah.
You know, and they're leaders.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you need.
Well, I mean, the point is, what you do in the bedroom doesn't make who you are.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That's a very small percentage of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
But, like with the Boy Scouts, the one thing I was just reading about was, they're talking about these churches that are not allowing the Boy Scouts to meet.
Yeah, one
like,
church threw them out.
When I was growing up, I was in I was in Cub Scouts. I don't think I ever actually went into Boy Scouts. But my dad was my brother's Boy Scout troop leader.
Yeah.
And they met at the church that my father went to back when we lived in Mineral. And so, I spent a lot of time hanging out with them, but we were always at the church. And so that was where the meeting place was. It's just kind of crazy to me, and I never really tied the two together, that, a lot of Boy Scouts, they don't really have a whole lot of money, and then the churches would allow them to come in. And so, for that reason, I actually I like the fact that the church is willing to allow them to use their place, but then you see this where it's like, oh, because you've changed your rule, we can't condone that. Go away, go find another place. So these boys that, they had a place to go and meet, they had a place to grow as men. Now they have to find a new place to meet. They'll probably end up meeting at somebody's house, which I guess can work, but it's just it's really very intolerant. It's just like, the Christian belief is love all God's children equally.
Exactly.
But yet, if unless they're gay,
this brings me back to religion for a second.
Yeah.
The Bible treats all sin equal. Mm-hmm. So whether you steal, or whether you kill someone, or whether you look at someone and with sexual thoughts, that's all sin. Sin is sin.
There is apparently one sin that is unforgivable.
Sinners. And we're all sinners, and that's what the Bible preaches.
Yeah.
But somehow this is unforgettable. It's like the Christians are forgetting their own
tenets.
Their own Bible. Like all sin is equal, and I thought that was the point of
Christianity.
To bring sinners in and help them.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't want Christians at the Boy Scout meetings reading Bible to these
most
gay
of the time
kids
they weren't. My dad's
trying to change them all the time and saying, what you're doing is evil, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't want that, but you're supposed to be embracing of all sinners.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a sinner, and you're telling another sinner that because their sin is different than yours, that they can't come to your church.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's actually part of the reason why I stopped going to church. It was these Sunday Christians, these people who would go to church and act all high and mighty. And then, I remember this one guy, he beat his wife on a regular basis, but yet he would come to church with him and his kids and act like he was superior to people, and that pissed me off some kind of bad. I was that to me, I was like, what kind of individual are you? Yeah. But it was just a microcosm of the whole situation. That was just one person, but it was everybody. Most of the people there. There were a lot of great people. There were a lot of people who were very kind, very helpful, but then just as many people who were ignorant and intolerant. But getting back to the whole issue with the Boy Scouts, it just the whole point of Boy Scouts is to allow men, boys to grow up into men. Like it's to because you're not going to get it in public education. You're not going to get a lot of these skills, like survival skills, learning how to tie a knot, learning how to start a fire, cooking. You can take like a home ec class, but everything's standardized tests now. So half these extracurricular stuff in high school are getting dropped for English, and I'm not saying English is a bad thing to know, but because there's no money to go around, So that leads to another issue. We'll get into another topic: education.
Of not having money to go around.
Yeah, it's like, let's cut education because that's not important. We don't need to.
We don't want educated
yeah.
voters.
No,
That's
that would be way.
that would
too
be a
complicated.
threat to the power.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I forget who said it. I think it might have been George Carlin, but he said,
Very wise man.
It's not God I have a problem with. It's His people.
Yeah. Well, and I've always said, I call myself an atheist, and I would actually agree with Christopher Hitchens. He calls himself an anti-theist. Well, he did before he died.
What?
An anti-theist, which basically his idea is that religion is evil. And I agree with him to an extent because I do believe that Christianity and Islam, Judaism, because of their particular tenets, causes good people to say and do evil things. Not to say that there can't be good people that do great things in the name of religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you need religion to be a good person, I think that kind of says a lot about who you are in the first place anyway.
Yeah, just be a good person.
Yeah. And like with I hate to stay on religion, but we have another issue to take, to address with sexuality and sexual behavior. Catholic priest. You knew we were going to get there eventually.
Yeah. Had to go there eventually.
The sexual abuse.
It's so prevalent.
Yeah.
And they get away with it. They just
it's covered up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Homosexuality is bad unless you're a priest and you're having sex with a little boy.
All right. So if you are a homosexual pedophile, don't go into college football. Go into Catholicism. Go into Catholicism.
Yeah.
That's just a rule. Because if you go into college football, you'll probably go to jail when you're older and get raped in jail. But if you go Catholic, you'll just get moved to a different church.
Transferred. Exactly.
Transferred. It's no big deal.
And maybe one day you'll become pope, and you'll be king and president of your own country.
There you go. Yeah. Money, power, and all the kids you want. You can get them delivered to you.
Yeah. You can handpick which ones you want. And I was watching a special on pedophilia. I don't even remember what it was about. I don't even know if it was like specifically on this, but they were saying how a lot of pedophiles, they don't. To them, it's not about boy or girl, because at that age, a lot there's a very little difference in anatomically between boys and girls. But it's just, I can't sit here and say that I've never looked at a female that was underage and didn't think, oh, that's an attractive girl. Because we set a number at 18. I think it's a very arbitrary figure. Not to say that a girl at 14 or 12 is mature enough to be...
Definitely not.
Human beings, we grow at a certain point. Like I hit my growth spurt at around 12 to 14. I went from about 5 foot tall. Within about a year, I was 6.5 foot tall. So we hit our growth spurt. We become mature, and I know 12-year-olds who are incredibly mature for their age that are more mature than 30-year-olds. I know 40-year-old men that still don't know how to be men.
Yeah,
and
that what that is that is parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I agree.
I mean, if you look at a 12-year-old, that you look at her and you say, she could support herself with a job right now.
Well, my sister was...
That is absence of parenting.
Yeah.
That is, the parents aren't there, and she had to do that.
Exactly.
She was forced. Her hand was forced to grow up, and she had to be an adult.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad, I think kids need to be kids when they're kids, and then, it'd be nice.
And that's really where it comes down to. It's, my problem with what they're doing is that they're taking advantage of people when they're... when they should be able to be, because when as soon as they get old enough, they're going to be working their entire life, they're going to be raising a family, and they can't really have fun. So you have to enjoy your youth. But what I was saying with, the whole number, the 18 number, it's really hard to be definitive at a number, because there's 18-year-olds that maybe shouldn't be. Shouldn't be considered adults, but it's ridiculous to me how you can be 22. Let's say you have sex with a 17-year-old, you're a pedophile, but you can be 90. and have sex with an 18-year-old and everybody's fine with it. That to me is fucking ridiculous.
Well, I don't think people are fine with that. I mean, look at the Doug guy that's married to Courtney Stodden, the guy from Green Mile.
But she was only 15 when they got married, though.
I think she was 16.
Okay, 15, 16, either way.
She was like 13 when they met.
But you know what? I was watching an interview the other day. I was watching an interview with them the other day. They were like, well, why didn't you just date? Or I think it was on Dr. Phil. He was like, well, why don't you just date for a little while? And he's like, because if we dated each other, he could go to jail. They had to get married so they could legally have sex.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's a double standard.
Yeah,
it's a double standard. But yet, Anna Nicole Smith, you said she was married to that 85-year-old.
That was a business move.
Yeah.
She was a businesswoman.
Okay, but she was still only like 18, 19 years old, dating a guy who's almost 70 years her senior. And that's fine. I mean, maybe not fine.
She was clearly mature enough to hold her own, because that was a straight up business move.
Well, but okay, ignore her. You know, you can look at this girl that you're talking about, the Courtney Stodden. Is she mature enough to make this decision? You know, to marry a guy who's 35 years older than her? Percy? Percy Whitmore. It's still crazy to me. I love Green Mile, and I look at that guy, and I'm just like, you serious?
But you gotta shake your head when you say, okay, well, he was like 46 when they met, and she was like 13.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But that's okay with Christians, because if you look at the Bible, the Virgin Mary was like 13, 14, and Joseph was like 40, 35. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, that was commonplace back there. But that was primitive times. We live in a more advanced society now.
But
at least we try
our
to
bodies have not changed.
Exactly.
They're the same people.
Well, I would argue that the human lifespan is a lot longer now than it was back then.
Okay,
unless you believe the thoughts that there were men that lived to be 900 years old, like Methuselah. But
still, I just think that's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's there's double standards all over the place, and I think it's people focus on what they don't like. They really, anytime they see something that they have a problem with, it becomes an issue, and it's always it's the loudmouth people. They throw it out there, and it becomes, and everybody's just trying to shut them up at that point. You're just like, all right, whatever, and it snowballs and becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And I think we need to. I hate to say it, but we need to come up with. We can't be black and white. We never can be black and white, because we assume everything is black and white. You know, murder. Oh, you killed a person. It's murder. Well, I'm under the belief that if you kill a person who's trying to kill you or your family,
okay, well, that's self-defense.
Sometimes
there are black and there are
sometimes.
Yeah,
but I've also seen times like. Perfect example. A couple years ago, there was an NFL player, Dante Stallworth, was driving drunk and he killed a pedestrian. I don't think he spent a day in jail.
That's fucked up.
Was it because he's a famous football player? Maybe. Was it because the pedestrian was jaywalking? Maybe he was doing something. I don't know the story right off the top of my head, but it just goes to show it's like. But yet, you have people who. You know, like a woman, battered woman. You know, I know they have protection for them on some occasions. You know, battered woman syndrome, where she kills her husband after years of being abused.
Yeah.
But I've seen women who have had that, and they've gone to jail for doing something.
There was a Lifetime movie on that.
Yeah.
Did you see the Lifetime movie? Oh my god, I saw that when I was like 10.
I might have seen it.
It was like a movie from like early 90s.
Okay, it's a possibility I've seen it. I don't know the specifics on it.
But one last thing with the underage. You know, people like it have to draw the line somewhere.
No, I agree. I agree. We have to make
otherwise you're gonna have like true pedophiles out there who are gonna take.
But there really needs.
And there are way too many people under the age of 18, even older than 18. There are a lot of people who are still 20 and still just they're not that bright. You know, they will easily get taken advantage of, and I think you see it a lot with going back to. Porn, 18-year-olds doing porn. I think a lot of them just get talked into it, and it's technically legal because they're 18.
Yeah, but isn't that a problem?
I think
they set that line, and even though they're not mature enough, we just like, oh, Oh, you're 17? Oh, we have to protect you from everybody else. Oh, you're 18? Sucks to be you. Go do what you want.
I feel like now a lot of dudes may hate me for this, but I feel like the porn age should be raised to like 21 with the drinking
Who
age.
cares? Guys will look at any.
I know, but I just think maybe we should give.
The only people who would care about that are the people in the porn industry.
Yeah.
That's the only people, or girls.
Because they won't be able to talk 18-year-olds into doing porn
Exactly.
anymore. Taking advantage of these girls who just turned 18.
Yeah.
You got this.
I mean, I would be
creepy
okay with that.
motherfucker coming up to you.
But
hey, I got some money for
I
you.
can't make that argument simply because I believe that if we're going to set a line, we need to set a line for everything. And if we're going to say 18, you're an adult, then you should be able to do whatever you want at 18.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So you should be able to drink. You should be able to smoke. You should be able to. You can go fight for your country. You can go die for a country trying to get oil just to save a couple bucks on oil. But yet you can't have a beer.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sit here and say that you also can't do porn. But
Yeah.
I can't really make that argument. I see where you're going with it. I see your point.
Yeah.
But I think that leads to a whole other issue that I can't.
Okay,
I can't sit here and-
I do agree with that. If you're an adult, you're an adult.
So if we're going to set that, if we have a problem with the number 18 and we want to raise it, we have to raise it for everything.
I think it should be 20. 20 is a nice, good round number.
But if, that the argument I could have against that is you look 150 years ago, there were 15-year-old men raising families, working on the farm. I mean, 15. It's how you raise children can be adults if you
but
raise them
times were hard
properly.
back then.
I agree. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm simply saying
you gotta be an adult quick.
I'm simply saying that it's hard to. I think that's why I think everything can't just be black and white. There's an arbitrariness that you can't evolve, and that's the problem with it. I'm not proposing anything specifically.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying there needs to be a discussion.
Especially if you look in the 30s, you had kids working in shops, working 40
Well,
hour,
then that's why they have laws against
60-hour
that,
weeks,
so.
and they were earning money just to put food on the table.
Well, and a lot of times those kids had to work. Simply, like their father would be working in the coal mines or something and get hurt. He couldn't work anymore, or they would be working in a shop. They would lose an arm to a machine, and they had to work to support their family.
Absolutely.
So in that scenario, it's perfect. It's perfectly good reason.
Of course, now we got Social Security, which
for a little while,
or no, it's
disability.
Disability. There it is. Yeah.
But that's socialism. Everybody argues about socialism until they want to take away something that they want to use, like Social Security or.
But I got
Medicare.
hurt on the job.
Yeah. America.
You got hurt on the job. So
sucks to be you.
Your great grandfather when he came over here, from Germany, and he got hurt on the job.
Yeah,
he did. He sucked it up. He didn't have Band-Aids, bitch.
Yeah. So I mean, there can always be an argument. That's why it's a very delicate situation when you're talking about legislating against certain things. And back to the point I was making about the age limit on sex, for instance. What I have a problem seeing is 21-year-old, mostly men. There are some situations where it's women, but it's mostly men, where a guy will have sex with a girl who is maybe only 4 years younger than him, but because it is an illegality, they are now permanently stamped as a sexual offender. For the rest of their life, they have to carry that, like a scarlet letter. And that, to me, is almost as bad. You might as well just say he's dead, because he's not going to be able to get a good job.
Yep.
He won't be able to get government benefits.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to get any kind of. He's a felon, so he can't own a gun, which I don't necessarily know if that's a good or a bad thing. But you were pretty much saying because he made one mistake, or maybe not even a mistake. He had sex with a girl who was 17. That, to me, he was only 4 years older than her.
Yeah.
But yet a guy who's 70 years older can have sex with an 18-year-old and it's fine. There's no illegality to that. You see the hypocrisy in that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that to me. And so that 80-year-old man or 90-year-old man, he can go off and do whatever he wants. But that 20-year-old guy, he's now screwed for life.
Yeah. I mean, you saw this with the movie Horrible Bosses. Have you seen Horrible Bosses?
I haven't
Charlie
seen it,
Day's character.
but I know what it's about.
Charlie Day's character he goes out to party one night and he's drinking at a bar, and then he goes off into the bushes to pee. But where he's peeing at is a playground. It's a children's playground, but it's at like 12 o'clock at night, and cops catch him, and he's now a registered sex offender for the rest of his life.
Wow.
That can happen to you.
Yeah.
That's exposing yourself in public, and let alone at a place where children play.
Yeah.
So, when you read it, I almost wonder if that would be, actually exposing yourself to kids, but there's no kids there. It's in the middle of the night. It's dark.
That's ridiculous to me. Well, okay.
And you're drunk.
But what about a parent who takes a shower with their son? Like a father, he has to give his son a bath. I know a lot of fathers who will take a shower with their kid.
Yeah.
They're naked. The kid's naked.
Hey,
is that nasty? Is there something sick about that?
There's something you got to, as a father, you have to show your son your dick. You gotta like pee in front of him. Pee
well,
with
you gotta
him.
show him how to be a man.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got equipment. He's got to learn how to use. It's just like showing a kid how to use a computer.
This brings me to my next point.
I mean, you don't want to jerk your kid off to show him how to do it, obviously, but you have to show him how to be a man.
Yeah.
Or so it's
same thing with women with when they get their periods. You got to show them what the tampon is and stuff. Now, I'm not sure which grandmother it was, or maybe it was a great grandmother. For argument's sake, we'll say it was a grandmother. When she got her period, she thought she was dying because she didn't know what it was. Because they didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about
hush
stuff like
hush.
that. Yeah. She didn't know what was going on with her. That just blows my mind. You got to talk about this stuff. I mean, you have to know.
And nowadays, we're not getting. I never had the talk with my dad. You know where I learned about sex? My brother-in-law was watching a porn when I was about 5 years old. And I walked in and watched the porn for a couple hours.
Oh man, you know where I learned about sex? I would go to a friend's house, and his dad had a huge stack of porn,
just porn mags
in the basement. And we would go down, we'd sneak, and we'd get something. We'd look at them.
Yeah.
Of course, we were kids; we couldn't like masturbate to them yet, but we would just look at them.
I didn't even know what masturbation was until I was about 12.
I learned about.
I didn't know what the point of it. Like I would literally they would say jerk it off, so I would sit there and just do that. Wouldn't finish because I didn't know you were supposed to. I just thought you were supposed to do it. I was like, well, this is kind of fucking pointless.
I learned about masturbation. This is how young I am. I learned about masturbation through South Park. There was an episode where they were talking about masturbating in front of each other, and like all the men in the town were masturbating in front of each other. And I went up to my mom. I was like, "Mom, what's masturbation?" And she stopped. And she said, "Where'd you hear that?" I said, "South Park." She said, "You're not watching South Park anymore."
What? Yeah, it's like, I mean,
that's funny.
Wouldn't it have been much easier to just explain to you?
She did. She explained it to me. Yeah.
Well,
but then said, "No, you're not watching South Park anymore."
Yeah, I trust me. My dad wouldn't let me watch half the stuff I wanted to watch. Like Married with Children, I wasn't allowed to watch.
Really?
Yeah, that to me wasn't even that bad. Like looking back on it, or in Living Color. Did you ever watch?
No.
It might have been a little bit too young for
like
Living Color.
No. Cult of Personality. You know those guys are black.
That is it. Yeah,
I did not know that.
I love that song.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. But no, it's a show. It was the Wayans brothers, Jim Carrey, Fire Marshal Bill. Nothing.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
All right. I just feel you made me feel old when you. But
all right. So go to Google, type in sex. Second image that comes up.
It was just a bunch of
Helen Hunt. Oh yeah.
Seriously, Helen Hunt is the second image that pops up. Oh
man, she's sexy. All right. Also on the first line is
Miley Cyrus.
Oh, I had that on the second line. Yeah, Miley Cyrus. A little bit further down, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. Did you see the burns that he got on his hand?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Oh my god. So the radiator exploded on him.
Like in a car?
Yeah, exploded on his hand. Oh my god. Type it in. Type it into Google. Hulk Hogan burns. Oh my god. Go to Google Images, type in Hulk Hogan burns. Look at his hands. Look at that shit.
Yeah, second and third degree burn.
God!
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
That is crazy shit. I just can't even believe that. I would not want to go through that.
Yeah, that looks kind of painful.
Jeez. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Oh yeah, back to topic.
I did too much cocaine.
And we can go. This is give you something to think about. I know you're training to be an MMA fighter. You go from time to time. One thing that is kind of on topic. I'm sure you've heard of the transgender person, Fallon Fox. She
Fallon
went from a woman or a man to a woman.
Yeah.
And the whole argument is because she is now technically anatomically a woman, she should be downstairs.
Yeah.
She should be able to fight other women. But we were having this conversation. She went through puberty as a male.
Yeah.
So she gained all the muscle and skeletal bone structure of a male, but yet she is now physically or sexually a woman.
I think the proof is in the pudding.
I don't know what that means. You have to explain.
Okay, yeah. Let me.
I know the.
Let me look it up
cliche,
real quick. So let's go to Fallon Fox.
Oh, you're saying like when you look
Wikipedia.
at the person?
All right, let's look at this. First win is a first round knockout in 2 minutes. Second win, first round knockout in 40 seconds. Now the third woman was pretty tough. She lasted till the third round, 3 minutes in, and she got submitted with a shin choke. Okay, I've been starting to train a little bit. I don't know what a shin choke is.
I imagine you choke somebody with your shin. That's just what I'm imagining.
Sounds right, but
I mean, but
oh my god, how does that? How do you get in? All right, so yeah. So you laying on your back, right? And then their head is right here, and you're pulling their head in like that. So they're in full mount, so they're in between your legs. For those of you who don't know what mount is, and then I guess it would come from an omoplata or rubber guard. Yeah, it looks like it comes from rubber guard. So you put your leg up. I guess you would put it in front of their face at that point, and then it's on their neck, and then you push their head down on your shin. That looks painful. I hope I don't get caught with that.
This is one ugly looking chick, by the way. I'm just going to point that out. I've seen some transgender.
So.
No, but I've seen transgender men to women that look pretty good looking.
Yeah, some pretty hot.
This one, no. You can tell it's a dude, or was a dude.
I wonder how big her hands are. go to images, Fallon Fox images.
Yeah.
Do you see the one that's on the third row to the right? It's Matt Mitrione giving the middle finger.
Yeah. Why was he the one that was saying something about?
Yeah, he got fined for it. He got fined.
I remember somebody saying.
Yeah, I think he got suspension as well because he went on this rant and he was giving her a lot of shit. Look, I have no problem with her. She.
Yeah, I mean, if she seriously believes that she's a woman,
that's fine.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you
can't go around knocking out chicks. I'm sorry, but that.
I mean, that's essentially can you imagine somebody who was a misogynist, literally hated women, somebody that was treated like shit by a mother figure maybe their entire life, and literally maybe a serial killer who hated women and was well, instead of me killing women, how about I just turn myself into one and then beat the shit out of them whenever I want?
I don't think she's.
No, I'm not saying her.
Okay.
I'm not saying her, but I mean, if I'm not, and I guess that's a ridiculous statement to say that somebody would go to that extreme.
The only problem is that she's in a combat sport.
Yeah,
that's just.
Well, but okay, what about a regular sport?
Yeah.
Like softball, you would be fine with them playing softball,
play softball,
even though structurally they can crush the ball compared to her.
Play the hit the ball with the stick game. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But when you're knocking chicks out,
yeah, come
on.
I mean, if we're gonna draw a line, I definitely would put it there.
Apparently, she's beating the fuck out of women. That's just a little much to me. Just a little much. I at the same time though, I kind of want to see her fight a Cyborg or
Ronda Rousey
or just any of these UFC women. Mm-hmm. I haven't actually seen one of her fights yet.
I know this is completely off topic, but doesn't Ronda Rousey look just like not Kirsten Dunst, who's the one that was in the Bourne series, Julia Stiles?
Really, you think so?
She looks to me looks like almost identical to her, except for she could obviously kick the crap out of her.
Julia Stiles. Oh, okay, yeah, I kind of see it. I'm not a huge Julia Stiles fan. I gotta say.
No, not at all.
I'm a huge Ronda Rousey fan, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that picture when they put them next to each other, it's not quite as.
Oh, did you type in like? Julia
Yeah, I typed in
Stiles,
both
Ronda
of them,
Rousey?
and they put a picture next to each other, and
So someone
it's
else also
close.
saw it.
Yeah, it's close, but
Yeah, I don't.
yeah. Anyway,
I don't see it. All right. So, Sean, do you want to go into sexual experiences? Do you want to put your sex life out there on the?
it's not very broad,
Extensive?
extensive.
Yeah, I've actually been a little curious about this. How did you lose your virginity?
How?
How did
I
that
had
happen?
sex.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, well, that's the Rational Discourse podcast for today.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you want to know. Like, to whom? I'm not going to name anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, don't do names. Don't do names. Just like, where did you?
I was in high school. It
meet
was-
them. How did the intercourse come into play? Like, what happened? What'd you say? Hey, baby, let me smell your panties.
Wow.
It was just another weird thing that we've talked
No,
about
we
previously.
had been dating for a couple weeks, and
A couple weeks. Oh, you move quick,
yeah.
bitch. Get
Um,
naked.
But I mean, it was just, it was what it was. I really don't really have a whole lot to say about it, to tell you the truth. It was sex.
Sex.
I try not to over.
Were you blown away?
Not the first time.
Were you like?
Actually,
oh
it took
my
about
goodness.
3 times before I was really comfortable with myself.
So you really started enjoying it? Like,
Yeah, because the first time, obviously, it was a little bit quick. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't, and then the second time, I had
In and out like a robber.
A little performance anxiety, and I literally couldn't. Like, I couldn't finish.
Really?
Yeah.
You had
So the
anxiety?
second, like, it went from the extreme.
Oh, you
like,
couldn't finish. Not that you couldn't get it up. You
No. Yeah, I just couldn't finish. So like,
finish,
we
yeah.
went for like a half hour, and and just I was just like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen. So, and then the third time, it was like good time, good duration, and it was like that was perfect. And then I was hooked at that point. So, but yeah, I mean,
It's like a drug.
it is. I mean, it literally is. Your brain releases a pleasure chemical, and that promotes human reproductivity. I mean, that's
It's a reward system, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a natural reward system.
yeah.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, she's not bad.
Oh, Ronda Rousey.
Some of hers
How
are
you
really
arouse me. Oh, I'm sure someone's already made that joke
I'm pretty
before,
positive.
so-
I'm sure that.
Yeah, that was dumb.
So what about yourself?
My
Obviously.
okay. I lost mine on the second day of college. Like, day one was move-in day, and then the second the second day was the first full day we were there.
Mhm.
I lost it that night. Yeah, I'm a pimp.
No.
Not really. I now this girl, I had met her on Facebook because back when we used
You're
Facebook.
that young, where Facebook was out when you were in college.
Yeah, well, they had this thing set up where it would show you all the people who are going to be going to the same school as you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
So-
it has that in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, a lot of, we were friend requesting people like, oh, hey, you're going to the school and stuff, and trying to get to know people and whatnot. And this girl lived kind of close. So, we went out and we had like ice cream or something a little bit before school started, like I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then we decided that we would start dating before. I think we went on like 2 or 3 dates before college, and we decided that we would start dating. So we went into college with each other, and we were dating, and
So you were dating? I just wanted to make that clear to everybody who was listening. So.
so second night, had sex for the first time.
Yeah, so I moved quick. Yeah, okay. I don't think you can get much quicker than that.
I just kind of wanted to get it over with.
Yeah.
I know that sounds bad.
Well, I mean,
I could go
there's a
back
lot
in
of pressure
time-
on.
If I could go back in time, I would have lost my virginity to the internet because the internet is so beautiful. Look how wonderful the internet is. Such a great tool.
Well, technically, if you want to be specific like that, I technically lost it to a magazine. So, I mean, if that's what you're saying.
No.
But,
I'm just saying that the internet is a wonderful thing, and I will gladly give the internet my virginity if I can go back in time. The internet were an actual sexable object.
yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll
It is.
eventually come to a point where they'll have like a little thing you stick your dick in, and
And the internet will give you sex?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
you pay some chick, and she's on the other side with her own machine that.
Wouldn't that be crazy? All right, so you would have something that you can like go into, and it's like it's this like gel, right? And then she has something that
molds-
she sticks in her, and it molds to her vagina, and then you stick in it, it's actually her vagina. So it's like a fleshlight.
Well, actually, I'm sure they already have this, and the reason I say that is I watched Big Bang Theory. There was an episode where they had this device where it was like it was two mouths that you would kiss, and it would mimic your tongue in lip motion on the other side, so you could kiss somebody over the internet.
That's crazy.
So I am positive if they came up with that, they came up with a machine that you could fuck.
That's crazy.
But that's technology. I mean, eventually we're going to have. I wouldn't be surprised we had holograms that were interactive, or we already have sex dolls that can do pretty much everything.
What if you could just like do like camera roulette?
Camera roulette?
Yeah, but with the kissing thing, I would just troll people all day and just like lick the thing. Just lick it, and
it
so
would
people
go to
would go
somebody
to kiss
random?
it. Yeah, it would go to someone random. They go to kiss it, and they would just get licked. Just get their face licked. That'd be hilarious.
The things you think of.
Have you ever been to camera roulette?
No, I have
I think
not.
it's camera roulette. Oh, chat roulette. That's what it is. Go to chatroulette.com for all your random encounters. I did. All right. So when World of Warcraft came out, the Cataclysm expansion, I was waiting for it to go online because I got that shit as soon as it came out, and I was on chat roulette, just kind of wasting time. Now go to chat roulette only if you want to see grown men masturbating on camera. All right. So
Hey, it says no nudity right here.
where?
Broadcasting or offering nudity is not allowed. It's the first rule.
Oh, well, that's
If you are under 18, you cannot use this service.
which also isn't true.
Yeah.
Apparently, you actually need a camera to do it. So, which makes
I got a
sense.
camera.
But people were it was just a bunch of dudes jacking their dicks. It was just a bunch of like everything. Almost all of them. I would go next. It's just another penis. Next, another penis. Next, it's a black penis. So I stayed for a little bit. Next.
Wow. Okay, so word to the wise: don't go to chat room unless you want to see guys masturbating.
Oh shit! We're an hour and 10 minutes into this.
No, that's fine.
You want to wrap it up?
Well, one thing we never got to address is how sex with politics. You know, we never really got into that. Bill Clinton, you know,
Yeah. Well,
the most famous cocksucker, Monica Lewinsky.
sucking someone's dick and become
It's-
famous.
yeah.
What was that? Was that
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
That's a career move right there.
You know
He's
you-
like, that's a pickup line. So yeah, I mean that's pretty significant now, especially with everybody has a camera nowadays. Everybody can post it on social media. Like Kennedy, back in the day he was banging Marilyn Monroe supposedly, but
that lucky
that was only a rumor. There was never any proof of that, and so can you imagine if he was the president today? That would have been everywhere.
If you were the president today, it would be Kate Upton, and every guy would just give him a round of applause.
Well, maybe not Kate Upton. It would be
Yes, sir,
maybe Katy,
Mr. President.
Katy Perry.
You are
Maybe.
amazing. Oh, yes, sir, Mr. President.
No, it would be people. They would be up in arms. Oh, we got to impeach this guy. We can't have this with our children.
Bullshit. If Barack Obama had sex with Kate Upton, I would applaud him.
Yeah, but if you imagine the first black president having an extramarital affair, he would be impeached.
He'd be a true black
But
president.
he'd be impeached.
I'm just messing with you, black people. He would not be impeached.
Oh, easily.
Why would he be impeached?
Quicker, because the Republican Party doesn't care what he does.
And
he could save.
Technically,
he could save a bus
adultery
full.
is illegal, isn't it?
Technically,
So
yeah.
it's,
He could save a bus full of children,
Chinese children,
doesn't matter what type
struggling
of children.
Indonesian starving.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He could save them with his teeth. Like, he could pull them out with his teeth, and they would find a way to make it a negative thing against him.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't brush with Colgate, so you know. You know, they were looking for anything to get rid of him. You know, they were like, oh, if he wins, we're all moving to Canada. Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you hear about the
Where they have
Texas-
socialized medicine, by the way. But yeah, that's
sex and politics?
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
yeah, they
These
really do.
Politicians are rock stars. You know, they got a lot of money,
Oh, but that's
a lot of power.
that's my biggest problem with politics as it is. It's
They're
not.
rock
It's a
stars.
popularity contest.
Yeah,
it has
they're
nothing to do with
rock
the
stars.
issues.
Might as well use it. I'm surprised that so many of these politicians are married. Dude,
Well, it's that
missing out on
home
the
fan,
ass.
you know, homegrown American family, you know, wife and 2.5 kids and a dog. And
Which brings
picket
me to
fence.
my next point.
Yeah.
Denny's, that commercial. Red, white, and blue pancakes.
No.
What's it taste like?
America. No, it's not America. It's America.
We called that too. First time seeing the commercial. He goes,
you
red,
called
white,
it,
and blue
yeah.
pancakes. What's that taste like? And we,
America.
We just knew it was coming. There was no other way for that commercial to end.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, sex and politics, they're rock stars. If you want to be a politician, don't get married.
Well, but you're not going to get elected if you're not married. For the most
Bullshit. You
part.
just got to be corrupt. You just got to be well.
One president out of 44 presidents that we've had,
Yeah.
one president was not married.
Who?
James Buchanan, 15th president of the United States. Who was also rumored to be a homosexual. But-
Yeah, Buchanan was kind of a...
Yeah. He was also considered by a lot of people the worst president ever. Which is bad, because there's a lot of bad presidents that have been in office. So. But, yeah. But, I mean, it's been going on for, I mean, Jefferson,
Buchanan,
sex
was
with
that
slaves.
the one before...
Lincoln.
Lincoln?
Right before
Yeah,
Lincoln,
yeah.
yeah. Lincoln was 16.
I want to elect a single gay president. We should do it. Next
I
time
think a
around.
woman will be president well before we have a gay president.
Now, a lot of people were up in arms. You know, they don't want a female president, but it does work. Look at South Korea. South
Germany.
Korea elected a female president.
Yeah.
And you know what she said? She said,
Fuck North Korea.
yeah, she said, North Korea, you better settle the fuck down or we will crush you.
Yeah.
Stop your bullshit. And that, you know, when she came out and said that, I was like, damn.
Well, she obviously didn't use that terminology.
I know,
Yeah,
but
I
she
get the point.
threatened North Korea.
Yeah.
She said, stop the bullshit.
Well, there's many countries, you know, like Germany is a perfect example. They're thriving, right? Well, you know, they have some issues, but everybody has some issues. But they're, you know, Merkel, I don't remember her first name.
Just gotta be a strong woman.
Yeah.
You know, like the what was it, Elizabeth II back in the day?
Well, Elizabeth I.
shaved her head.
Elizabeth
I
II is currently.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Elizabeth I. She
Yeah.
like shaved her head. She's like, I ain't getting married, bitch. I'm leaving
Yeah.
this country. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
That's what we need for a female president.
But
You
see,
gotta be
that's
straight
the
gangster.
problem. Like, literally, you know, like that's another thing. They thought that she was a lesbian. You know, it doesn't
yeah.
matter if you're a single, strong individual. That's the first thing they do. They try to attack you because it's such a stigma. There's such a stigma attached to being gay that that's the first thing they do. Oh, he's not married. He must be gay. But yet, how many men who are married turn out to be gay? Like,
Oh my
it's
God,
Not
there's-
even. It's not
Dude.
even like.
There's another website.
He's got a website for everything. I swear.
How you spell Republican?
Republican.
I got it.
Poop.
There's a website that
Licking.
shows how many Republican anti-gay congressmen, senators, and whatnot have been outed as gay and then changed their gay
Yeah.
views.
Well, obviously.
And the number.
Well, once they're out, might as well.
The number is astonishing. I mean, what is wrong with people? Just say that you're gay. Just, okay, hey, homosexual, you know. Just, why do we oppress it so much?
Yeah.
Even to today.
The one thing I will say, though, is, you know, hearing what I've said, hearing what you said, I can see, and I hear this among a lot of people, the youth nowadays, unless they're extremely radical, they have this viewpoint of, why do we care? Why is it an issue? Let's focus on some stuff that's actually important. and not worry about what everything else is going on. So I think we're heading in the right direction. And contrary to what a lot of people would want to hear, we will eventually have 50 states that have all legalized gay marriage, and it's going to be a thing. How long it'll take, I don't know, but it will.
And marijuana.
Marijuana,
but that's
yeah.
a different podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely. But
all right, folks, we're going to close out the show now. We would like to note that there might be a little bit of confusion with us and another podcast of almost the exact same name. They are Rational Discourse Weekly, and we are Rational Discourse Podcast. So we actually didn't know that they existed until we tried posting on YouTube. I believe they started about 6 months ago. But they seem like cool guys, check them out as well. I think having both us and them will just make each of our podcasts better. You know? There's no reason why people can't explore the same, issues, just different angles.
The fact that we came up with the same name actually kind of, and they talk about some of the similar issues that we do. So
yeah, they do. And we may move on to different subjects that they may not cover. They may move on to different subjects that we might not cover, and who knows? We may not be doing this a year from now. They might not be doing a year from now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, check. They're on iTunes as well. They're also on YouTube. They don't have a website. We are still working on getting our website up and running. RationalDiscoursePodcast.com. So best of luck to them. But sorry, we're not trying to step on your toes or anything, but hopefully we can help each other, and maybe each of our podcasts can become better because of the other. So
yeah, definitely, it's like Coke and Pepsi, hopefully.
Yeah, Coke and Pepsi. We are Coke and Pepsi, baby.
All right, and I like to normally end the podcast on a quote. I couldn't really find any good quotes on our topic, so instead I'm going to play a clip from Louis C.K. He's a great comedian. He's very realist, rationalist type of person, and he has a great perspective on gay marriage, and we're going to play that now.
Or people that try to think it's all like it's a social issue. Like when you see someone stand up in a talk show and say, like, how am I supposed to explain to my child that two men are getting married? I don't know, it's your shitty kid, you fucking tell him. Why is that anyone else's problem? Two guys are in love, but they can't get married because you don't want to talk to your ugly child for fucking 5 minutes?
Yeah, it kind of copies my sentiment exactly. It's like if that's really what your problem is, maybe you need to look at yourself instead of worrying about everybody else. But anyway, that's going to be our show for the day.
And go to louisck.net to check out all of Lewis's tour information and buy his special. It's only $5. Don't be a cheap bitch. Yeah. He's definitely worth $5. He comes out with a new hour every year, and each hour is amazing.
Yeah, so. He doesn't recycle his information either. He always comes up with something new. So
yeah. He's absolutely awesome.
All right. Well, like he was saying earlier, we will have our website up, www.rationaldiscoursepodcast.com. We'll have all our podcasts linked. You'll be able to download those, or you can listen to them on YouTube. You can also follow us at